What's up, everybody? Azario here, and welcome to another Yu-Gi-Oh 101 discussion video. I know it's been a while, like months. Like I can't remember when was the last time I done a Yu-Gi-Oh 101 discussion video. I think the last time I did one of these was back in like what 2013, and I can't even remember what the last subject was. Like it's been that long, so it really has been forever. But earlier this week I mentioned that I was going to be doing another one of these, and it nearly slipped my mind. And this is like the last day of the week before I do another uh, channel update video. So I was like, you know what? I need to go ahead and do this because I don't want to seem like a liar to people. So in this video, of course, as you guys know, what I do with my Yu-Gi-Oh 101 discussion videos may be completely different than any other Yu-Gi-Oh community related video they have on YouTube. What I try to do is I try to get the community involved, or I talk about things that's happening within or around the community, how people look at us, how people view us as duelists, as people in trading card game culture, and a lot of the negativity thing, and like a lot of the negative things that's going on, as well as the positive. But in this case, you know, I'm just gonna have to call a spade in this case. Like I'm gonna have to just call a spade because it's been touched on here and there in past videos, and I never elaborated on it as much as I'm going to do in this video. I'm not gonna expound on it as much as I will in this video. And in this video, I have to talk about these duelists that think that they're good only because they're using net decks or these top tier builds or these broken or overpowered loops that are formed in the game. You know, I really need to speak on this. This needs to be touched on. You are not good if you only play top tier builds. Here's why I say this. I do a weekly event called Yu-Gi-Oh 101 Fan Day, and it's hosted on Dueling Network. And I've went up against Light Sworn builds, Dark World builds. Mind you, all of these were net decks, by the way. Bujin builds, you name it. All net decks. Everybody's using the exact same thing. If they're using this archetype, they're using this deck profile. That's just how often I see it. And the way my mind works is completely different than any other duelist in Yu-Gi-Oh. If I know that everybody at so and so tournament, even though I've never been in a tournament, I'm just using this as an example. If I was at a tournament, right, and I knew beforehand that this tournament has like 32 people, including me, and if 31 of those people are using this Twilight build, then why not have a build that counters Twilight instead of me just following what everybody else is doing? This is what the average mind state of the person that uses a net deck, that's basically how they think. It's monkey see, monkey do. And instead of them trying to get down and dirty and try to learn the game for themselves, they follow this online blueprint to a T, to the point where they feel like they can do no wrong. And when a situation occurs where things can be a bit confusing and rulings have to come into play, they don't even know what to do, but yet they're so quick to argue with you that you're wrong and they're right. They can't even explain, you know, exactly how chain links work. They don't even know how many normal summons you're allowed in the game. They don't know how many special summons you're allowed to do. They don't even think that they think that there's a difference. I went against people that actually said this, and you guys have seen that video. Well, like I know some of you guys have seen that video. Um, it was a guy I was dueling on Dueling Network for a fan day. I think this was in like late 2013 that this happened. But anyway, this guy thought that tribute summoning and normal summoning was two different things. Now, in theory, the method that a monster that has to get tribute summoned happens kind of differently, but a tribute summon in Yu-Gi-Oh is regarded as a normal summon for a monster that is level 5 or higher. Now that's completely different from a monster that gets special summoned from tributing monsters, say cards like Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, but a monster that needs to be tributes in order to be summoned to the field. Monsters that are already on the field gets tributed, sent to the graveyard, and then this monster can be normal summoned. That's how it works for them. You see, but these people, they don't even know that much. Now, mind you, all this is from my experience. I've seen a lot of these quote unquote top tier deck users, they don't even know the basics, let alone the advanced stuff. But yet they got some nerve to tell you how much you don't know. And this is where the ass ripping begins. Because they really need to be told off. If all you do is play a top tier build, if all you do is play broken or overpowered loops, you're not good. Like, let's just get that straight. If that's all you're able to do, you're not good. If you can't make your own build in Yu-Gi-Oh that is consistent for the most part, or that is at least playable, you are not good. Because your knowledge of the game only comes from an online profile and somebody telling you how this is supposed to work. And because you're so short-sighted and your knowledge of the game as a whole is so, you know, so small that you think this is the way it's supposed to be run, and under any circumstances during that duel, this is supposed to happen. Instead of you understanding chain links that, okay, since my opponent had chained this card to my card, and chain links work in reverse, so his effect would go first before mine, you know, you sit there and you argue with the guy about, hey, I activated mine first, so mine should go first. I don't make the fucking rules. I just follow them. And the rules state. You know what I'm saying? So it's always going to be this idiocy in Yu-Gi-Oh! Between people who think that they're the shit just because they play these, top tier builds, and the individuals that actually know how to play the game. There's always going to be like this tension between them, because now I know some people kind of try their best to avoid those types of people. I'm one of them, but it's inevitable that you're going to run into them. And I'm pretty sure most of you have run into your fair share of these people. And it's unfortunately, as long as that it's there, pretty much as long as that's there a tier system. Now, be this in fighting games or even with trading card games, as long as somebody creates a tier system, then it's always going to be this problem. Because until people discover what it's like to create your own build, because it's a lot of knowledge in researching cards, and just the experience of making something for yourself. You know, now I'm just talking about Yu-Gi-Oh, like just in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh, and saying finding cards that work together and making your own build. It's experience in that you're not picking up, and it's something. And I'm telling you this from experience. It's something special when you can create a build that other people have said, it's impossible to do this. It's impossible to make a build with this. Why? Because it doesn't have search. It doesn't have search support. None of the monsters destroy spells and traps. And none of the, monsters, search for anything. Or nothing happens when it goes to the graveyard. You know what I mean? And I've done this with my retro modernization series. I've proven those people wrong time and time again. You know, you know, um, even with my Cloudian build, that not one person in Yu-Gi-Oh wanted to touch. And I can say that with confidence, because you never, even with the new people, you never even heard of the Cloudians. You people that have just started playing the game, I would say like within like a year or so, you guys never heard of the Cloudians, because they don't get played. Because people have claimed that they are so unplayable that they just don't want to touch them. Yet I've beaten other builds just for the simple fact that the way that, because I understand this from experience, that if you play one build does not mean that the next build you're playing should be played the same, and that's the biggest mistake that people make when it comes to playing multiple builds in Yu-Gi-Oh, especially these days. Even though Konami is basically, breastfeeding these motherfuckers with the same shit in every archetype, it needs to be a variety. It needs to be, some uniqueness to the game. It needs to be some things that are indigenous to this archetype that this other archetype can't do. It needs to be that variety, because when each build has the same thing over and over, if this new archetype coming in is doing the exact same thing that this last archetype did, then exactly what's the point of playing this new archetype? If I'm looking for a very different experience, so it's knowledge and researching your own cards. It's knowledge and making your own builds that you guys won't understand until you do that. Until you invest time in finding out what else is there, you're only going to believe what this online profile is telling you. You know, online profiles, based on what I've seen, because I never bothered to net deck myself, but just based on what I've seen and what other people have told me, they said, oh, only this can work with this, only this can work with this can't work well with this isn't working well with this. Yet I prove all these people wrong time and time again. Why? Because I have experience based on my own effort, not on somebody else's effort. I didn't wait for some OCG, you know, online profile to pop up before I decided, hey, you know what? I can make this build. I've been doing that before I got on Dueling Network, and I'm going to continue to do that, you know, if for some reason Dueling Network shuts down in the future. Because I have the experience of patience, something that a lot of these quote unquote top tier motherfuckers need to learn. They don't have that. So don't let anybody tell you that you're playing a deck wrong just because you're not playing it in the same typical way that a net deck user would play it. You're not stupid just because you want to play something different in a different way. So that's all I need. That's pretty much sums up everything that I wanted to speak about in this video. You're not stupid. Now, mind you, like, I'm talking to other people that don't net deck, you know, that don't typically net deck. People that can make their own builds. You're not stupid just because you won't follow some online profile. You know, when people only get their knowledge from this one source and you read everything, obviously you're going to have more knowledge about the game than they will, because their knowledge only comes from an online profile. They only know to play the deck like this. They don't know what to do when a situation arises when it comes to chain links and various other things, basics, Yu-Gi-Oh basics. You know what I mean? Some of these top tier guys don't even understand Yu-Gi-Oh basics. That's probably the reason why most of them cheat so damn much. When it comes to these locals, yeah, I be hearing about it. Motherfuckers can't even play the game fair these days. You know, it's whatever though. Because when you're so concerned with winning all the damn time, you're pretty much liable to do that. Winning takes over your mind so much that you just gotta cheat. Like, come on, man. Like, you really gotta take it that far. It's whatever though, man. I'm not gonna say people will be people. All I'm gonna say is that idiots will be idiots. You know, and that's probably a bad comparison, because that's you know putting them in the same category with people that might actually have a little bit of intelligence. you know, but in theory, yeah, everybody is idiots because we don't know everything. Just because you know how to microwave a pizza doesn't mean you know how to fix a microwave. You know what I'm saying? So, in theory, everybody. So in actuality, everybody is idiots because it's always something that we don't know. But I know this game. And I know for a fact that online net decking profiles, that's only meant for the new people coming in, just for them to get a jump start on the game. They don't know how to make their own builds. They need something quick because they want to jump into the game as quick as possible. You know, and the only thing I can say to that is don't get stuck in that state of mind because you're missing out on a lot. And that's pretty much it. So as always, thank you guys for listening, and I will see you guys for another Yu-Gi-Oh 101 discussion video in the future. Peace.